Hello, today we're going to talk about the study guide for transformations. We're just going to go through all 10 questions. If at any point in the video there's one specific problem you need to go over, you don't have to watch the whole video. Skip around and look for the one or two problems that you might have trouble with. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time to sit down and watch the entire thing. I understand that. Now, first of all, this is actually the second time I'm trying to record this because some of the problems were not showing up. The pictures were just plain missing, and some of the answer choices, same thing, they were missing. There was just a picture of like a little error screen. If that happens, just refresh the page. It should not delete your work. It might though, so make sure you're writing down what you got for each one on a piece of paper or something. For me, it didn't delete my work. Matter of fact, let me just double check. If I click this and refresh, everything should be, yeah, it does not delete your work. So don't worry about that. If there's an error, hit refresh. It should show up then. Moving right along, number one, the correct answer was going to be ZW. It might not have been answer choice C for you. That's because everything is scrambled. I did that on purpose just so that way, if you are working with a group, you do actually have to communicate what you got and how. So for this problem, it is talking about quadrilateral PQRS being rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin and then translated 6 units to the right. So this is a shape that is going to be rotated and then shifted over. Now in this problem, it's asking you what line segment would be the same length as line PQ. So it just wants to know what line in this new shape down here is going to be the same length as PQ. You're going to have to visualize this shape up here being flipped and turned 90 degrees. Just take a book, turn it 90 degrees, just a quarter turn. Imagine that happening with that shape and imagine what points would line up with that. PQ is going to line up with WZ. That's what that shape is going to match up with. Now, if you're stuck on this one and you couldn't visualize it clearly enough, instead you can actually go through the process of rotating just these 2 points, P and Q. R and S are not going to be important for this particular activity. So if you have to graph this one by hand, you can ignore half of the points for this shape. And hopefully that would save you quite a bit of time. For number 2, this is asking about which figures appear to be congruent. Congruent is a word that you should have been hearing the past couple of years. If not, a refresher right now is that the word congruent means identical. It means the same. So for example, I could say that these 2 markers are congruent. They are still congruent. Even though this one's facing a different direction, this is the same exact pen, or the same exact Sharpie, rather. So you look at your answer choices and you see that, you can see that these 2 shapes are not the same. They're completely different. They don't even have the same number of sides. These 2 shapes appear to be identical. I can't really see anything different, but there might be some small detail that I'm missing, so I'll come back later. Option C, those are different sizes. They are not congruent. And then option choice D, again, they are just completely different shapes. So that is most certainly not congruent either. So the answer is B. So I have to come down here to my answer choices and look for the letter B. Like I said, the answer choices are all scrambled. So make sure you are communicating clearly to your partner if you worked with them what you chose and why. Moving on to question number 3. It shows this parallelogram JKLM, and it is going to be reflected across the y-axis. And it wants to know what will be the coordinates of the new parallelogram. For this problem, all we're going to do is we're going to reflect this shape. Easy way to know how to reflect is choose the line that you are going to be reflecting. This is the x-axis, so nothing should end up down here. The axis we are going to be using is going to be the y-axis, which is going to be right here. This is our line that we are going to use as our mirror. I'm aware that that did not come out too clearly. There. In order to figure out how far a reflection will be, you just count how far away a point is from the line of reflection, and then count out that space to the other side. So this is at negative 2, 4. My reflection will be at positive 2, 4 right here. This one's at negative 4, positive 4. The reflection is going to be at positive 4. Positive 4, excuse me for stumbling over my own words. This shape is going to go over to positive 3, positive 1. This one will come over to positive 5, positive 1. This will be my new shape. You're then going to take this information and look down here at your answer choices to see which one matches that. Key thing is all of the points should be positive, so you don't even really have to look at these two because you can see there are negatives in there. We'll just look for this point right here. There should be positive 3, positive 1 in the answer choice. This option does not have positive 3, positive 1 anywhere. It has the flipped version of that. My answer choice should have been all positives with a positive 3, positive 1, and with a positive 5, positive 1. The answer choice up here didn't have that. Moving on to the next problem, number 4. After this square is translated 4 units to the right and 4 units up, what would be the coordinates of u? So for this one, we're going to take u. We're not going to worry about t, s, and r. We really don't care about the rest of that. For u, we're going to translate it 4 units to the right and 4 units up. So 4 units to the right will be here. 4 units up will be here. And my new set of coordinates are going to be right there on that yellow dot. It's going to be at positive 4, 0. Those are going to be my new coordinates. Positive 4, 0. Make sure that you are not making a silly mistake and accidentally choosing something else like this, which is 0, 4. That's going to be straight up along the y-axis. Make sure you're not getting the x and y-axis confused in your coordinates. For number 5, this square is rotated 180 degrees about the origin. If you double check your notes that we had taken, I believe, yesterday on rotations, whenever you rotate 180 degrees, it doesn't even matter if it is clockwise or counterclockwise, you are essentially taking that graph and reversing it completely upside down. In effect, what you are doing is you are keeping the same x coordinate, you are keeping the same y coordinate, you are just taking the opposites of them. So if I'm looking at coordinate k right here, k is located at positive 4, negative 1. Its reflection will be exactly the opposite of that. The reflection would be at negative 4 and positive 1. It's going to be located right here. So we just look in our answer choices and see here is negative 4, positive 1 right there. Do be careful because it is incredibly easy, given the types of answers that they have over here, to get mixed up. Be extremely careful, read everything twice if you are not sure. For question number 6, this trapezoid is graphed here and it's going to be rotated 270 degrees. Excuse me, I can't talk, but I'm not going to pause the video and re-record here because I can't be bothered to re-record things twice. The trapezoid is rotated 270 degrees about the origin. What are the coordinates of point R? So when they're saying that it's rotated 270 degrees clockwise, what they're talking about is this point, and we don't care about Q, S, or T. We really don't. That doesn't matter for this problem. We're going to take R, and we're going to rotate it. 90 degrees would be here, 180 degrees would be here, and 270 degrees would be over here. So this is where point R is supposed to end up, somewhere in the first quadrant. So let's just take care of some answer choices. We know it can't be them. It has to be a positive value. So I'm going to have to clear this actually. It has to be a positive value. We're going to be rotating R. If you double check your notes, if you are rotating 270 degrees clockwise, then what is going to happen is you will take your x and your y value and you're going to flip them. So instead of it being positive 4, negative 1, you're going to flip them, and then it will be negative 1, positive 4. The difference is you then have to switch your first value, your new x value, and make it the opposite value. So if it was negative, make it a positive. My new r value was supposed to be up here. My new r value should have been positive 1, positive 4. That's where I'm supposed to be. Now, the downside is they also included an answer choice to try to trick you up here, positive 4, positive 1. Positive 4, positive 1 is where the reflection is going to be, not the rotation. Moving on to the next problem. Number 7, this rectangle is graphed below. If that rectangle is translated 6 units left and 3 units up, what will be the coordinates of point y? So we don't care about x, we don't care about w, we don't care about z. All we are focusing in on is the coordinates of y. So this is translated 6 units to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units to the left. It's actually going to be where z is. And then 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Those are the coordinates of my new point right here, located at negative 2, positive 1. Right here, negative 2, positive 1. Moving on to question number 8. 2 figures are shown below, which is true. Pay attention to which one is your original. This shape up here is just JKL. Anytime you don't see those little alpha marks, those tick marks, that tells you that it's the original. This shape up here in quadrant 2, that is my original shape. The shape that is down here, that is my new shape. So let's double check and make sure none of our answer choices have that fact confused. Nope. It is saying that JKL alpha is the new shape, so that matches up. Now, as you remember from the warm-up from today, the first activity, a translation should look almost exactly the same as the original. It shouldn't be facing a new direction. If you look at this shape, it's facing a new direction, so it can't be a translation going straight down. A rotation 90 degrees. If I were to take a triangle that was that shape, and I were to rotate it 90 degrees, you're going to have to look up here at me in the little corner. If I took this triangle and I rotated it 90 degrees, if I rotate it 90 degrees this way, or if I rotated it 90 degrees this way, it is no longer facing the same direction. If this up here was point L, it should not be at the top, and it definitely should not be at the bottom. So it's not going to be a rotation at all. The only other option is going to be a reflection. The question is it a reflection over the x-axis or the y-axis? This line right here is what acted as our mirror, that x-axis, meaning my answer choice is this. It is a reflection over the x-axis, not the y. Do pay attention to that, because I believe I put a question just like this on the test. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. Too late, I'm not editing it. Too much effort. Question 9, the figure below is reflected over the x-axis and then over the y-axis. So this shape is going to be reflected twice. It's going to be reflected once over the x-axis, so it will end up here. After it's reflected there, it is then going to be reflected over the y-axis to end up over here. So the question isn't even asking you to tell me what all of the coordinates are. It is just asking what quadrant is it going to be in. Now, if you had me in 6th grade, I know you know this because we read that silly Viking book, and I drilled that into your head as best as I could. But in case you somehow forgot, this is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. You'll notice they are Roman numerals. That is by design. René Descartes, the French mathematician who came up with the modern coordinate system, this is the way he had the quadrants set up, so that is the way that it has been ever since. The Greeks, I believe, did have another form of this, but their method didn't stick. René Descartes did. So that is the method we follow. If you need help remembering this, draw a letter C. That is the order that the coordinates come up. You start in the quadrant 1, you draw the letter C, and you will end in quadrant 4. It's the best way I have to help you remember. If you have a better way, by all means use it. The last question, the only one I warned you about at the very start. This one says that triangle JKL was rotated 90 degrees about the origin. Triangle J prime, K prime, and L prime is graphed below. This is not the original shape. It is asking what were the coordinates of the pre-image for point L. So first of all, we don't care about K, we don't care about J. We only care about L. Second of all, L, this is not the original. This is what happens after it was rotated 90 degrees. So you actually have to do the reverse. It was already rotated 90 degrees clockwise. You need to redo that and send it back, going 90 degrees counterclockwise in order to solve this. So right away, these two down here are not the correct answer. These are what happened if you got ahead of yourself and didn't pay attention to those prime symbols. So we have to consider, okay, what happens, let's check our notes, when you rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. What's going to happen is you're going to take your x and y coordinate and you will flip them. Once they are flipped, our old coordinate, which was +4 and -2, is then going to be it's going to be -2, +4, except we still have to, if you check your notes, take the opposite value for the new x coordinate. So instead of -2, +4, it is going to be +2, +4. That is where our new, or our original L point would have been located, at +2, +4. I'm very sorry for stumbling through my words so many times during this review. As you heard me say, I don't like re-recording this stuff multiple times. I hope you found this helpful. If you watched this and you just don't understand one of the questions, please reach out to me so that way I can touch base with you and explain this a little bit better, because I really want you to succeed on tomorrow's quiz. Other than that, if you are watching this today, Thursday, August 27th, during class, if you have absolutely no other questions, no concerns at all, and you feel like you can get a 100 on the quiz tomorrow, you are free to check in with me and then peace out. Bye.